Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about some of the frequencies that are available on the planet right now, and some of the experiences that I've been having for my own self, and just as personal experiences, don't take this as being exclusive to me, because the reason why I say these things is because if I'm experiencing it, then it's possible for anybody. But basically, what's been happening is, as I've been tangibly noticing the frequency of the planet just rising up, and what's been happening to me is that there's been waves of blissful feeling and emotion flowing through. But also, like, the way that I would describe it would be sometimes, and all of it is associated with thinking of God and thinking of the divine and source and the infinite. And these emotions, they seem, well, first it's like these like really powerful like tingles will shoot through the body, and it'll make me have like goosebumps all over my body. And then from there, like, it'll feel like fuzzy sensations, and then those are accompanied with beautiful thoughts as well. So the thoughts are akin to, imagine just like looking at somebody and then seeing their deepest devotion to source or God or just everything all at one time. So it's like you look at a person and then you just feel the deepest level of love that they've ever felt in their entire life. Like, that's all you're focused on. So like, you're walking down the road, no matter what other people are feeling, you look at them and then you see past all the illusion, and the only thing that you see is just the love that's exuding from their soul. And then from there, you're just like, oh, wow. And you see that and you feel that tangibly through yourself. And imagine like connecting to that level of love, like with everybody and everything that you see, and then feeling those waves of bliss and love shooting through yourself over and over and over again. And it gets to a point where you literally like really can't do much of anything other than just like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just, wow, like, wow, and wow, and wow, and wow. And everything just ends up being just like miraculous and beautiful. Because you're seeing a new layer of reality, a new level of reality, something that was there the whole time, but was hidden by your own viewpoint or your own ego, your own perspective, hidden by the things that you were looking at. Had the attention focused on the stuff that the world is normally focused on, had the attention focused on wealth and fame and name and women and, like, for men, or men for women. But focusing the attention on things that don't actually bring happiness or a lasting joy or fulfillment inside of the self. The only thing that really brings a lasting fulfillment or joy inside of the self, from my own personal experience, is connection with the divine. And it brings such a powerful love, and it's impossible to even compare it with anything else. It's better than any other relationship I've ever had with anybody. It's better than any other orgasm that I've ever had. It's better than any other kind of peak experience or anything like that I've ever experienced before, any other drug that I've ever experienced. It's literally miraculously beautiful. And it's like I feel so much grace for being able to experience this, because it's so much grace for one lifetime. And I've literally, this has been happening for not that long, but it feels like it's been happening for my whole life. And it feels like it's been I don't know how to it feels so familiar that it's as if it is me, who I am. But at the same time, it feels new and miraculous because of the forgetting about the kind of like bliss in this lifetime. So it's like just rediscovering this level of bliss that was like inherent in my own soul the whole time. And the bliss doesn't come from doing something to achieve the bliss. It really, all it does is just seeing into that layer of reality, or seeing into that kind of like that portion of consciousness. Like, there's a portion of consciousness inside of you that is literally always blissful and always happy. And the reason why is not because it's doing stuff all the time and making itself happy. It's because it's just content and okay with just witnessing love. It looks for love, it desires only love, and so it experiences only love. And it comes to a point in your experience where the worldly pleasures start to fall off so much that you genuinely only desire for the love of the infinite, or the love of God. And then when that starts to happen, then you know that you're very close to what would be known as traditional enlightenment. And what that is just the falling away of the belief of who you thought that you were, and the falling into who you actually are. And from that just comes a lot of peace and love and security, and just trust with everything. Deep, deep, deep trust with everything. Love, falling in love with everything, and yourself. And just these waves. And then also what's been happening is and this is going to be a separate video on its own, but I'm going to talk about it now anyways. Another thing that's been happening is that the Divine Mother has been teaching me how to direct my consciousness or focus onto one individual emotion, no matter what it is that I was feeling prior, and just hold that emotion through focus. And what happens is that there's no more boredom, there's no more negativity, there's no more like stagnant moments, because even as soon as you start to feel that stagnant moment, all you have to do is just redirect your attention back to, and then literally it comes to you, and then you just start to experience it, and then no longer you're bored, because you're in the infinite bliss. And like, this is what's been shown to me or taught to me over and over again, like how to do this. And I've been trying to figure a way to articulate it to be able to show people how to do this, but it's really just it's learning to focus your attention onto a particular feeling of bliss, and holding your attention there, no matter what it is that your mind tries to tell you about, like what it is that you're experiencing. Meaning that your mind's going to be like, you shouldn't experience this because of this and this and this and this and this, and then you have to go, no, okay, I want to experience this now, so I will experience this. And then you'll feel that kind of like, if you watch this, like I'll show you the contrast of what a normal person would feel. They'd be like, like they feel all these different emotions flowing through. Literally, you just keep reperpetuating that kind of like that lightness inside of yourself until it starts to manifest through a different kind of means. And then you can also see through doing that all emotions are of the same light energy, which means that all emotions are manipulatable or manifestable into that particular kind of emotion, because they're all just reflections of themselves. So they all have infinite facets and infinite experiences. That's why a lot of people say that like what bliss is any emotion that's fully felt. Well, I kind of figure that that's actually true in a way, because once you fully feel the emotions, then instead of the connotation of what your ego mind used to think that the emotion is, instead of that, it actually is it's just the experience of the emotion itself, and then that experience becomes bliss in its own self, because it's not hindered by the mind or by projections of what the mind thinks of what it's experiencing. So once the mind stops projecting onto what it's experiencing, saying, oh my gosh, like I don't like this emotion, or I love this emotion, or I don't, like blah 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 blah, like once it stops doing that, then all the stuff that comes through starts to be of the same level of bliss and the same level of kind of like just like beauty to it. Because remember, there's two sides to every coin. So for every pleasure side, there's a pain, and for every pain, there's pleasure. So if you can learn how to flip the coin for your own self, then you can take any painful experience and turn it into a pleasurable one for yourself. And then once you move into the pleasure sensation, then you dissolve the identification with the need for the extension of that experience, and then that pleasure will then turn into a stable joy, and then you sit in that joy, and then you enjoy the joy, and then that joy will turn into a state of bliss. And then you just learn to direct your attention to that particular emotional state or that feeling inside yourself over and over and over again, and then you end up kind of embodying that more and more. All right, you guys. I'll probably make another one later.